Greetings, founding comrades, and welcome back to Bee's Knees. Here we are again, back in our little town, and today we have quite a task ahead of us. Last week we started our production of meat, and that's looking really nice, but you may have noticed that in the past few weeks we've fallen behind on the production of berries, fish, and bread, as well as wood and coal. So that's what we'll be tackling today. I think it's kind of important to make sure that all of your productions are constantly evolving as your town is growing. So we're going to be addressing a little bit of the growing stuff that we've been ignoring for the past few weeks. And I will be showing off a secret that I learned on stream that I promised to show last week, but we ran out of time. So today we're finally going to be able to get on that. So we should start with the bread. Now, another thing that I've noticed is that last few farms that we set up, pretty much all of the farms in this city are just almost too large. And actually what this results in is that they're not always filled fully. So they have the potential to be filled to the maximum, but usually they're not. And actually we don't have to make them just to the top limit of the appropriate size. In fact, making them a little bit under that top limit will be a much more efficient use of our space, since we need so much space in order to fill these farms. So let's make sure to add a few wheat farms. I'm not going to resize the farms we already have. I feel like that would be quite a lot of work, although we could push these back just a tiny bit so that we get a little bit more woods, which will come in handy in a moment. So first, let's just set down a wheat farm over here. And I think we can have these two farms next to each other. I do wish that I could be sure that combining them like this is not going to break either one of them. We could test it. This is the thing. When I was playing the early access version, I kind of got to know all of the little quirks and, ways that you can combine different buildings without them breaking. But right now I'm still getting used to some of the new building layouts, and I'm playing it safer. So let's just experiment a little bit. Also, let's change the weather to, let's go daytime. We don't really do daytime much on this video series. Also, as you can see, they've started cutting down this island quite rapidly, and just to keep things going a little bit longer, we don't really have plans for this island. I mean, we do have the plans, but we're not doing anything with this island just yet. I will go with a forester camp as well as a berry hut. And that's all we're going to do so far on the island. There is a lot of berries here, and I think that's going to be very useful. And just reforesting a little bit until we're finally ready to chop the island down, which is the ultimate goal. I think this is fine. So while they're building that over there, let's give our farms a little shave. Just off the top. These are already not getting filled. So just doing a tiny little sort of this, maybe a little bit more in this direction, is not actually going to harm our production that much. So let's just see what kind of angle we want here. Oh. That seems better. We'll take the second farm, and we'll also just take off a little bit. And we'll take the third farm and take off another slice. Ooh, take off the slice, please. And we can actually just slice it off in a reasonable fashion. Alright, now that that's sorted, we can then turn on the new overlay and just make sure that our fence covers the thing. This is going to make it difficult for that berry picker to come through here though, but some sacrifices are worth it. Some sacrifices are worth it. we're just extending the forest a tiny amount here. Not really a huge difference, but I think it's going to be as much of an enhancement to the forest size that we can get. All of that is very welcome. What are these? Are these all reforesting? Where's our forester that we've put here? Is that... There you are. I think this forester can reforest over here now. Just push in a little bit. And they're already built here, so let's add them. Wonderful. And we have to paint the reforestation area on this island. So let's just do that. Boop. There it is. And we can actually clean up some of these details because we want to make sure that the forester does not get confused. Sometimes they get villager path blocked messages from the edge of the island. So let's just shave the island around a little bit, just to make sure that nothing untoward is happening. When it comes to here, for example, we don't want them to get confused by trying to plant or chop on the cliff, as they've had trouble with that in the past. So we'll just do one of those. I think that's wonderful. All right, good luck reforesting. And, you know, while we're at it, let's clean the wood cutting line just a little bit as well. There, that's a little bit cleaner looking. Some of it's a little bit wonky on this side because I didn't move the camera when I was doing it. We can go around and just, you know, we can just make it nicer, honestly. Let's just do that. And here's a little secret that I've learned, which is if you want to make nice edges for multiple different areas, you can use the forbidden paint. And while you're doing the forbidden painting, you could just sort of look at where you want your edges to be. And then most of them will actually get removed. Like you can see the wood cutting, if you do this, the wood cutting actually gets removed. But the reforesting does not. But if you go into the reforestation area, then remove it and repaint it, it will snap back to the thing. So we can just use the forbidden zone to clean a nice rounded edge if we put in a little bit of effort. And then of course, don't forget to remove the forbidden zone so that your people don't get lost and angry. All right, let's go. Wonderful. I think that's way nicer now. It looks way less chaotic. Okay. Wool for the elders. No, thank you. Villager path blocked. Where are you trying to go? Oh, it's the fishermen again. I feel like our fishermen, something's up with them. Are you trying to gather fish in the river? Well, we'll see that in a moment if it pops up again. Very strange behavior from our people. Also, let's see if I can just clean this up a little bit so that it looks a little bit nicer. Just want to make it so that we're not accidentally demolishing the house, but that we do have a cozy, satisfying line. We've gained a little inch of hunting grounds, but that's not really what matters. It's just that every inch of ground matters when you're doing other stuff, which you'll see in a moment. So, one of our future plans, let's do it right now. One of our future plans is to create a monastery and maybe something else here in the center. And that means we have to remove this sheep farm. So we're going to actually be moving this sheep farm somewhere else. And I will show you a little secret that I learned on the stream. And that is that, I could just move it over here. I think that's fine. You can actually use forests as hunting ground and as a pasture at the same time, which is pretty dang cool. Also, it just occurs to me that these people don't seem to... Their nearest well is over there. I guess that's fine. Let's just make these walls, these little fences go away. My favorite way of removing a fence is just using something like maybe the bench. There we go. And the fences are gone. I think maybe the builder's hut could also work, but the bench just costs money, which is very nice. Does the builder's hut cost tools? Nope, just 5 lumber. Although for us, that's currently kind of a problematic cost. Alright, let's assign these people. And paint a crop field. Now, occasionally I think it's good to leave a little bit of space for them to be able to walk through. I think we'll do one more field before we leave a space. And let's do that right here. So something like this. Too small, it says. Then we shall go larger. Adequately sized. I don't want to do what we did before, which is make it too large, but I also don't want to just make it the minimum possible size that it's going to be happy with. So let's just go a little bit more. And yeah, I think the angle does have to be... We could take the angle like this. Yep, that sounds good. And if we do let people walk through here, that could be a perfect place to maybe build another hunter's hut or something else. So that, you know, we don't have to necessarily reforest this like we're reforesting these bits. Perfect. It's a little bit too square for me. I prefer a more wedge shape. So we could go out a little bit and then pinch it in, but I'll keep it like this for now. I'm also going to just say that this should all be cut. If we're going to leave a sort of wedge, if we look at here, we want it to travel in sort of a shape like this. So we definitely want to cut this, and we want to not reforest this area. So let's find our forester, which I think is all the way down here. And we'll say you do not get reforested. And then just to speed up the cutting, we could actually move a woodcutter up here, which we might do. So let's first get our fence set up. So for that, we're going to go back into the visibility, zoning areas, click the fence, and move it over here. Make sure that we've got angled corners there. And that should let us be good, I think. That looks good to me. And actually, I want to clear this wood and start a new farm there as well. So now that we have this here, that should keep our roads from getting silly. I actually want to try and build a lumber camp here instantly and see what they do with the road. So we're going to see if the road behaves. And if it doesn't, we will delete it because we don't want to accidentally have a road that we don't want, a path. Also, well, that looks good. I think because we're going in an arc, we could probably extend our residentials all the way out to here. Although I do want to sort of arc inwards here, so let's just pinch it like that. think that's kind of gorgeous. Cool. And we can hide this. Bring in 3 new woodcutters. Can bring in even more if we want to speed things along really greatly. So let's just add, what is that? Oh, it's a decorative one. The stewing post, the munching post. I add the munching post. Now, if you have a lot of wood and you need to get rid of a forest in order to make room for farming, you can of course use the resource removal, which is really fast. But in this town, we don't have the luxury of throwing away any wood because we are low on logs and on coal. What is happening here? Hold on. How are you guys? Very spacious use of land here. Okay, I mean, I guess I'll take it. Certainly looks like there's a lot of housing room. Also, I am more and more leaning towards just putting a giant fence around the place. Although, we could just probably find some kind of way to build some interesting towers. Fortification? Ooh, very unfortified out here. But sure, we can do a lot. So they've built our new sheep farm, or they've relocated our previous sheep farm, rather. We're going to get rid of this pasture, sorry to the sheep. And we are going to relocate it right in here. Now for that, we do need to remove the reforesting. But since this is reforested and we're not intending to cut it anymore, that's fine. And now we just paint a pasture in here. Again, if you want to overlap the same fields perfectly, you can use the forbidden zone in order to create clearer borders. I'm not going to be fussed with this right now, but it is an option. I do kind of want to be fussed with it. I shall not be fussed with it. But as you can see, it's actually quite a lot of space. And since we're not going to be doing anything in these woods anyway, it's kind of a great way to use up your forest space that you're using for hunting. You can get so many pastures, especially if you have a cheese industry that you're trying to set up and you just do not have enough to get that cheese going. This will be very, very helpful. For us, I'm thinking I might actually boost to a second sheep farm so that we can use the production and sale of clothing as a good amount of income. We will, of course, eventually need way more shirts when people start having different needs, when we have an army, when we have more commoners. But for now, I think we can use the clothes as a very good source of money. Now, I think I'm just going to put... Could I just build a second one here? I feel like it's a little bit too far out. But what I'll do is I'll move the hunter, because the hunter works deeper in the woods, further in. So let's just move the hunter. Do you want to be moved, please? So you will go here, and I'll twist it a little bit just so that it's not 2 buildings in the same orientation, side by side. I'll twist it just like this, probably. Yep. And then the hunter can be here. I think that works better. Cool. Okay. That's done. That's sorted. So we'll keep an eye on the wool. Once we get both of those, we'll see if all of this wool is actually getting processed into cloth. We also might want to move the rest of the buildings. We have the weaver's hut and the tailor's workshop here. We did have a little bit of space here. This sawmill is just temporarily here, so we can move it away and we can instead have the wool and tailor in the area. I think that would actually be kind of good. So maybe we'll just do a little adjustment here. This sawmill, because there's new lumber over there, let's just move the sawmill over here. These sawmills keep getting moved around because I've not yet finalized where I actually want my final wood situation to be. So, you know, we shall see. And actually the way that we're going to cut here is we're going to just reduce the reforestation, because the reforestation is what defines our zone of the final trees that we're planning to have. And actually I think we can move this forester up there. You can join over here. So that's a lot of wood. These are our farmers. Once these get chopped, actually I will just make sure that these get chopped first. So we'll do this, and that should make sure that this gets cleaned up first. New citizen, celebrating the laborers. I'm a little bit worried that we won't be able to do a good celebration, so I'll leave that for now. Wonderful. Okay, our new sheep farm. Get 2 more shepherds. And we can, first of all, I see a little bump there that I want to just get rid of real quick, just with a little snip. It's nicer. And there we go. It's adequately sized already. Don't make it too big. So I'm just gonna oversize it, and then I'm just gonna go in and snip it down. Might be a little bit too narrow. But yeah, I used to have qualms about doing this because I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. Sheep in the woods, you know? But we noticed in our on-stream game that space really is difficult to handle. There's a lot of limitations with space. So this has actually been a very nice way to deal with this. It does mean that you don't get the beautiful pastures. So I would honestly prefer some kind of difficulty slider where we could have, which maybe lets you shrink the amount of fields you need in order to get the same yields with wheat and sheep and cows. I think that could be a good option. We do have modding. Modding is coming in again, so mods have been re-enabled, which is very exciting. Let's add a gathering hut up here. Anything that can help shore up our berry production until we have our monastery, which is going to be here. So if we have the time for the monastery today, we'll do that today. Otherwise, we will plan it for next week. Today, we're just planning to address the bread, berries, and possibly fish, and wood and coal. Now, I think that I want to spread in this direction. And you remember last time I was pondering whether I wanted to start chopping this over here, because we could hunt here, but actually this is the edge of the map. So the amount of territory, if you look at where this border is and where the majority of the pigs are, they're beyond our range. I was going to use this forest as a secondary hunting forest, but I think I might just use it as a logging forest. So we might just do a little bridge and then logging here. I think that might be what we'll do. No access to rustic food. Don't I know it? Let's get more gathering huts in here. Let's take a look at our edicts and privileges. So this is taxation happiness. Upkeep. Nothing to make them eat less food. Decrease the cost of mandate. Upkeep the production of production building parts is decreased. I think we might go for that because it does feel like that would be a good way to reduce some of our costs. Now, why is there a little wonky shape here? Okay, that's being cleared out. That's wonderful. This is a very wild reforesting effort. I'm kind of impressed. And is that more iron over there? My goodness. So much iron, so little wood. We do have a lot of forests though, so I am complaining about just, you know, a resource that we are surrounded by. Although, again, the border is limiting. I do think maybe one of the things that'll help our production is once we go over here to actually claim these. Have we studied all of those? Oh no, we have all of the mineral deposits to study. That's fun. Do we have anything? Invest in the middle trade route. Sure, we'll invest. Oh, now we have 1 polished stone. Wonderful. Where is our stone polisher? over here with the blue tents. That is not blue. That's not a blue color. There we go, a little bit more stone polishing going on. That's always a good supply of money. And yeah, let's move our weaver and tailor. We have to grab both of them. And we can make them work over here. I like these two buildings being sort of meshed together. Invalid position. A little bit too far down in the water, I think. So we can bring them up a little bit. I think that works. The back is kind of wonky. We'll see. I think it looks okay. Build those two, move them here. And then the real question is the warehouse as well. So we have a warehouse here that actually handled all of the clothing and cloth and wool. So where are we going to store these resources? Where are we going to house them? This says too far, but it would kind of be perfect here because we could actually most likely just fully squeeze that in. So this would be ideal. But too far. It's too far. Why is so far? What's not too far? How close does it have to be? Quite close. I guess we can try building a new warehouse instead. Ooh. It's a little tight, but if it says it's gonna work, it's gonna work. I trust it. Oof. Listen, if it doesn't displace anyone, I'm happy. We could even move the sheep farm a little bit to the side, just to make it a little bit more nice. And look at how quickly these buildings actually get rebuilt. It's not at all the duration that you would expect. So we're going to say wool is no longer going to be stored here. So let's clear that. Clear. And cloth can be stored here. I'm happy with that. And because this is kind of one of our central warehouses, we're gonna do that. Look at all this space we've cleared out now that the sheep farms are no longer here. What's happening? Surplus of construction materials. Well, good. So it seems that wheat is now maxing out, so we need a few more citizens. And possibly we will make a second windmill around here. Kind of looks like it fits very well. I like to give it a good silhouette against the grain, but it also just will fit really well if we build it this way. This place stores wheat, stores boars. We have so many boars. Are we selling the meats? We are selling these meats. That's good. Okay, a few more people come in. What was missing, workers? You can definitely have. You're going to store wool. Maybe even double wool. Cloth, clothes. Because this place is going to bring clothes over there anyway. So it's kind of like villager path blocked. Let's see. Could not reach destination. Graciosa is a serf. She's a fisher person who works over here and she cannot reach over there. I wonder if that means she can't go under the bridge. There is a fish over here though. Do we not own this fish? We do. So just fish over there, lady. Hmm. Little bit worried about these fishing situations. They're fishy. All right, so I think we're still gonna need way more wheat to produce this bread. Our flour is not really maxing out, and our wheat, just before harvest season, is still under 100. So building a new mill, I think there's not gonna be enough wheat to supply this mill, so we're going to build another wheat farm. We could probably squeeze it around this stone. But instead I'll put it right over here. Wheat farm. And then we can have another wheat farm. 2 more wheat farms. It's all about wheat maxing. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can put in a little bit of effort to make them stacked nicely. Since they're wheat farms, they can look a little bit shabbily stacked together. But I think this is the superior option. There we go. How far is your nearest well if you live around these parts? I feel like it's not super close. So let's give these people a lovely little well. Well. You can have it over here. So there is a new wheat harvest happening. And this is one of the hardest things to balance is the wheat and flour and bread production, because wheat comes in waves. All of your wheat fields will be gathering at the same time. So you're gathering this massive amount of wheat in a very short amount of time. And you know what? Over here we might actually have a little bit of space to put this the wheat farm improvements. And so you kind of want to be looking at just before harvest season, how much wheat do you have left? Because if you have more and more wheat left after each harvest season, that means your millers are not processing all of the wheat that's being created. If your wheat is always at 0 before harvest season, that might mean that you're not making enough wheat. So it's a good way to see what's going on. These these decorative haystacks are nice. Put one in like your actual field. That's kind of fun. But look at how sizable this building is, this barn, right? Store 50 bonus resources, so 50 bonus wheat. It's the size of another wheat farm, and it has an output of an upkeep of 1, which is the same as a whole granary, and a granary can store 400. And the size of the granary versus the size of this expansion, so this can store 50 and costs the same as this granary, which can store 400. Obviously, the granary needs a worker, but still, it's not a great combination. So maybe just put a wheat cart around, but this also has an upkeep of 1. It does not provide any splendor, costs you tools, and it's just a single thing. It's a little bit basic in terms of as an upgrade. It just doesn't seem worth it, which I find with a lot of the upgrades, they don't seem worth it. I will, however, do this. We can try. We can see. Because these are complaining that they're full, and our granaries should be taking care of that. We'll add 2 more transporters here. Okay. Yeah, this is looking real nice over here. Full of boars. I think maybe that's why that granary was not taking care of the wheat, because there was too much going on in the other direction. So I really like this little slice of island that we have. And we could make a town center here, like a beautiful, you know, some kind of construction and stuff. But I'm still very enamored with the idea of going big and going around this river as a sort of coastal settlement and having our town center be on this island. We could, on the other hand, have the town center here and have a monastery here. But I don't know. We already have an island monastery in my on-stream town. It does seem kind of fun as an idea. But a castle and town center here also sounds fun. Now I'm not 100% on which way I want to go. What do you think? Monastery here. We can have, you know, a sort of monastery or whatever like this, and then a settlement around it. And then we can have this be the town center on this island, surrounded by more settlements down here. And, you know, we could even have more fields, more other stuff in this direction. Or we put the town center over here. So this would be like where the biggest buildings would live, and maybe like a sort of castle-like construction. I have a couple considerations. I do think that an island monastery looks really, really cool. So that's always a really fun option. The other consideration is that this is the edge of the map. So a town center being moved a little bit further away from that edge could benefit us in terms of balance in the appearance of the whole thing. But yeah, I'm not sold on either option yet. So option B being instead of monastery here, town center here. Basically swap it out, the idea, right? Either the town center is on this island and it's got like bridges in every direction and it's surrounded by settlement, or the town center is here. I don't know. Yeah, let me know what you think. I'm gonna withhold the thoughts that I'm having other than what I just rambled on for 7 hours. Come on, baby. Okay, well, our berries have finally hit 100 after a while of not doing that, so that's good. Our wood is recovering. Our coal has not recovered yet. We do need more serfs. Is that just one immigrant? We need more than one immigrant. And what are you? Oh, the meat. Oh, the frackin'. Who is buying the meats? We should probably increase our trade with them if we can, because meat seem to be really good right now. Are we actually selling meat? We are selling meat as an alternative to the bread. But we want to be selling both. Is there any fish in this river? We checked last time, right? And there just was no fish. That's really nasty behavior by the game, because I was kind of counting on the fact that since we are a riverside civilization that we'll have a lot of fish, and we just do not. So I think a monastery is going to greatly benefit us because we're going to have those berries. We're going to have vegetables. It's going to be lovely. How is the wool doing? Okay, our wool is kind of exploding, so we definitely want to increase our production of cloth. And then from that, we'll see if we need to also increase our production of clothes. Let's see if we can squeeze anybody in here. This has become a very dense part of the neighborhood. I think a weaver could technically fit. Maybe we actually stack these sheep farms together. So long as we don't destroy anyone, you two can sort of... Where's your arrow? We'll just see. We'll see if they can be friends. What if you just do that? We'll see what that turns out as. I used to stack the sheep farms like 3 in the early access, so we'll see how this goes. And then, what are you? A shepherd? Oh, you're just waiting for your stuff to be rebuilt. Then let's see if we can add a weaver hut. Weaver hut. We don't want to accidentally wall off anything, so I'm thinking we might just encroach on the field. The fields were very large anyway. But if we kind of do a little... Ooh, that looks like it'll do a thing. The weaver hut has a lot of like protrusions. A lot of protrusions on both sides. Where's your entrance? Their entrance is over there, right? So maybe, even if that is squeezed off, it'll be fine. We really are playing with the densest stuff here. Ooh. Wow. That was nice. Alright, so we actually have enough farmers here to define both of our fields. So we're just gonna go and create a lovely area here. First, we want to make sure that there is a walkable path. Having a little bit of trouble there with the reforestation and the farm conflicting. Okay, I think that's good. Now it's all about cleaning up the wood cutting zone, just because we don't really need this to be like that anymore. And just do that. And for now, this can be our wood cutting zone. As long as it's within the reforestation zone. There we go. And of course, we just top it off with a little fence. I wonder if we could squeeze 2 more over here. Or just 1. I think we'll probably do 2. Or we can do 1 and do one of those farm size upgrades. That could work as well, I think. Okay, that's gonna use up a little bit of our wood, but that's fine. Perfect. Villager path blocked. Yeah, Graciosa is still struggling with reaching anything. Girl, what is your damage? Wait, does she still make fish? No, there's 0 fish there. Maybe we just move it further out into the water. Maybe that's the problem, that it's too shallow there. We'll try that. It's a very shallow riverbank. Alright. The tailor does seem to be burning through the cloth at a pretty decent rate, but I'm assuming they've balanced the tailors and the weavers, so presumably our cloth is gonna jump up now. So we'll see if we need to add another weaver as well. Maybe we'll find the space over here. This place has always been a bit wonky. But yeah, I think this is looking good. We have definitely increased the amount of berries that are present. We've definitely boosted the production of wheat, which hopefully will have long-term consequences for the production of bread. They're kind of hard to see immediately. I think we might just do the full circle next time and I think it's definitely time to work on the monastery. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about where the monastery should go, whether it should be here in the middle or on the island, and or whether the island should be like an enclosed village town center with maybe like a castle. Yeah. Castle on the island or monastery on the island? Both on the island. We could also have like a slice of island just be monastery. That could work too. 2 monasteries as well. I mean, hey, who doesn't love more berries, more vegetables? Okay, so I'll have a think about that. I'll also see what you guys say about it. That'll resolve our berries because it'll also add vegetables and berries. The fish, I feel like we'll just get more fish by populating more around the river. Wood does seem to have recovered. Coal, not so much, but I think we can do a little bit something about that. And then, yeah, the plan for next time is the monastery. So I hope that you'll join me for that. And we'll be able to see our town grow even more. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out and spending your time here. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, do all the things that you do when you've enjoyed a video. Possibly one of the most important things that you can do is you can tell your friends about this video. Share it with your friends because YouTube will not be recommending it to anyone. So, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to catch us here next time for more stuff. We've got a foundation video every Monday. I might move foundation videos to Fridays. Foundation Fridays? Possibly. I'll see what we do about that. Also check out our other Let's Plays. Currently we have the Odd Realm Let's Play and the Broken Alliance Let's Play also coming out once a week. And then also, we're just doing a 3-part Solasta demo series, Solasta 2. So 1 and 2 are already out. Part 3 is coming out this Friday. So check that out. That's really fun as well. There's lots of fun stuff on the channel. So go ahead and check that out. And of course, if you'd like to say hi live, you can follow me over at twitch.tv/Lelling, where you can hang out and we can chat live as well. And check out the other games there. Cool. I will see you around. Have a nice rest of your life. Stay solidary. Bye-bye.